Effective communication really just boils down to if you are good at delivering a message and if you are good at receiving and computing the message. It's a continuous loop, okay? A cycle. To be an effective listener, you really want to think about, are you listening in order to respond or are you listening to understand? And the right answer is you should be listening to understand. If someone's coming to you with a problem, sometimes they might want you to give feedback or they want your opinion, or they just want you to simply listen. A lot of times in those cases, you can just ask, do you want feedback or do you just want me to listen?
Did I stutter?
People will take you seriously and it will deepen their trust in you. Thus, they will give you more of their respect and they will be more apt to follow you as a fellow team member and you as their leader if they know that you care. And people know that you care when you show that you listen. Think about your body language. So nonverbal cues, right? How is your body language? Are your arms crossed? Are you looking at them in the eyes? Are you looking around the room? How is your posture? You know, are you turned towards them? Are you turned away? How do you know when someone is listening to you? So think about that for a second. It's all about what someone's body is saying that tells you you can trust them or not.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Effective communication, I think, is a pretty broad subject. I specifically want to talk about how to problem solve. Let's say that you are kind of having a rough time with one of your teammates and they're not listening to you and don't really seem to respect you. What do you do about it? Well, you do the mature thing, you have a conversation. Yikes, I know. Sometimes that idea can really scare us away into, you know, it's so uncomfortable that we never want to do it, but you have to do those things if you want to move the needle forward. Let's say you have someone that's not listening to you. You want to sit them down and have a one-on-one chat, and you should pick a time where it's a neutral situation, so you don't want to grab them obviously when they're feeling upset, or you don't want to take them away in the middle of a really fun moment and they're in a really good mood. The conversation might be a damper. Try to refrain from using language that places blame on the other person.
I'm really sorry if you misinterpreted things. It's probably my fault.
Not your fault. I'm sorry I misinterpreted our friendship.
If you can figure out how to do that, it can be kind of tricky, but then once you get the hang of it, it becomes easier. But if you can figure out how to communicate with someone in a way that they don't feel like they're at fault, they're more apt to listen to you and participate in the conversation, and it will become more productive. So let's say you pull your teammate aside and you say, hey, do you mind if I talk with you for a second? Sure. Okay, go somewhere private. Start off with something along the lines of, sometimes it seems like I'm not receiving any respect. How do you feel about that? They answer. You could respond with, okay, well, what can I do to gain your respect? How do you feel about these situations that have been going on? And ultimately, I think you want to make sure that the goal is to have mutual respect so that they will then be more likely to listen to you and follow your guidance as the leader. You also really have to think about, what can you be doing better as a leader? Maybe that's the root cause of why they are not listening to you. Are you being overly assertive and authoritative for no reason? Maybe that's just not the style that they respond to. Are you being belittling or degrading? Do you place blame on them and never on yourself? Do you always make it seem like they are the ones at fault? Are you always yelling at them? That's going to help you kind of understand what you need to work on first, and then you can address the situation as a whole. I think it's really important to check in with your teammates and let them know these conversations are important to you and their opinions and their feelings do matter to you, because ultimately if they don't have your respect, you can't really move the needle forward. You can't do your job effectively if your teammates are not willing to jump on board and follow you and listen to you. When you let them know that what you want out of the conversation is that you want there to be a mutual understanding and a mutual respect, hopefully they will be more cooperative.
Respect. RESPCT. Find out what it means to me.
Sometimes you never know what's going on in someone else's life, and they might have something else completely separate from what's happening in the team, whether it be color guard or dance or cheer, and how they are reacting to you has nothing to do with you. It might be what's going on at home personally, and I think in those cases people are not really going to come outright and say it. Most people are not going to feel comfortable enough to say, the reason why I'm not listening is because I'm having family problems. Some people might, but most people probably won't. If you feel like the conversation is not going where you want it to go, you kind of want to leave room for the potential that that might be a part of what's going on, and to respect people's boundaries. At the end of the day, all you can really do is try and put forth the effort to do your part, and this is a continual thing throughout the season. Just continue to show them that you care and that you're there, and maybe they'll come around and they'll finally tell you about how they really feel. They'll feel comfortable confiding in you about whatever it is that's going on. But don't prod and don't push or pry into business that is not yours. As long as you do your part and make sure you are communicating and letting them know that you're noticing that there is some tension and friction between you two, and you just kind of want to get to the bottom of it because you feel like you don't want to be the reason why someone has a bad experience, I find that that tends to be the more effective route to go. When you're listening, make sure you show that you're listening and that you're not multitasking. You want to give people undivided attention. So refrain from playing on your phone or looking around or just being busy with something else while someone is telling you something. You don't have to defend yourself, or you don't have to put a wall up. You just need to simply listen. Don't take it to heart. Don't take offense. It's really hard, I know, but just realize that someone is like taking the time to be honest with you. Treat it with logic when you're dealing with this. Just, what are the facts? Try to remove your emotions from it, because that tends to make things complicated. And whenever you are dealing with someone who you're struggling with, chances are they're probably going to kind of have feelings about it. So two people struggling to deal with their feelings is not going to be productive. So if you can at least handle your emotions and realize that it's probably not a personal attack on you, then you'll walk away feeling like you can better handle the situation. Now, if they are doing something where, if they are accusing you of doing this, this, and that, listen. Maybe you need to listen and kind of do a little bit of self-reflection and examination and wonder, okay, well, is this true? Am I doing this? And maybe even ask around. Maybe ask a friend or another teammate or your director and say, hey, you know, a teammate has told me this about, they told me this, that they felt this way about me. Do you feel like this is true? There's nothing wrong with getting another opinion or two, especially if you want to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to deal with whatever problem it is that you're having. I feel like this video was all over the place, but I'm just speaking from my heart. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment down below, or you can send me a message at Front Center Performance on Instagram. If you found this video helpful, like it, and if you enjoy content like this and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.